What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I have a puppy in my arms because when you have a dog that acts like a baby, they need to be in your arms. So I apologize for that. But today I wanted to talk about cardio. I get so many questions from you guys, so many questions about cardio, whether it's how much cardio should you be doing, how much cardio do I do, what does cardio do, how much cardio should you do for fat loss, etc, etc, etc. So I want to talk about all about cardio, clear the air, and make sure you guys know exactly what you should do in terms of cardio. So first of all, I want to talk about cardio for fat burning. So a lot of times people get really confused when it comes to losing body fat. They think that doing cardio is going to equal fat loss. Now this is one of the furthest things from the truth, and I have to explain why. First of all, in order to lose body fat, you have to be consuming less than you burn in a day. So in order to lose body fat, you have to be burning less in a day than you are consuming. So what does this mean in terms of cardio? So let's say you're consuming around 2,000 calories a day and you're burning about 2,300 calories a day without cardio. You don't need to do cardio if you are burning more than you're eating. Now let's say you're still eating at 2,000, so your BMR slows down a little bit, and then you end up burning 2,000 calories in a day and eating 2,000 calories in a day. Then you might want to add in some cardio. Cardio should be used as a tool for fat loss, not as the only thing you're doing to lose body fat. Because when you're plateaued in a situation like that, you want to start burning more in a day instead of decreasing your food. So in order to burn more, you do a little bit of cardio to help with that. So cardio is not the only way you can lose body fat. There are also people who will do about 30 minutes of cardio a day and will not lose any body fat. Why is that? Well, if you're doing 30 minutes of cardio a day, let's say you're burning maybe like 300 calories during that session. So let's say for the day you burn something like 2,300 calories. If you're eating 2,500 calories, you're still in a surplus. So you are still eating more than you're burning in a day. You're not losing body fat, and odds are you might be gaining body fat as well. So cardio is not going to completely equal body fat loss. Even if you do it 30 minutes a day, even if you do it 45 minutes a day, an hour a day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you are 100% going to lose body fat. And for a lot of people, it usually means that you don't lose any. And that's because of plateaus. So when you're losing body fat, a lot of people are only focused on the short term, right? Like losing it, and then maybe it's for an event, maybe it's for a vacation, maybe it's for a birthday. But then what happens in terms of sustaining the body fat loss? When it comes to cardio, it's really hard to sustain body fat loss if all you've done to lose it is just do cardio. Here's why. Again, as we talked about, you have to be consuming less than you're burning in a day in order to lose body fat. So let's say that you lost 10 pounds just doing cardio for maybe like 5 times a week, 30 minutes each session. In order to sustain that body fat loss, what will you have to do? You will have to keep doing 30 minutes of cardio 5 times a week, basically forever, because there's no change in your metabolic rate when you're doing cardio, and all you're doing is burning the amount of calories you are in that session. So when you're not burning those calories every single day, what's going to happen? You're going to start gaining some fat back. So this is why combining cardio and weightlifting is going to be your best option, because with weightlifting, you're adding on some muscle mass, which will increase your metabolic rate, which means you can sustain the body fat loss. So later on, when you have more muscle mass, you can eat more and more throughout the day without gaining extra body fat, and if anything, gaining more muscle mass, which is awesome. So for example, I currently eat 2,500 calories and I do 0 cardio. If I ate this amount when I was just starting out, I would be gaining fat. I would be, because I did not have the same metabolic rate that I do now. But now that I've been lifting for 4 years and I gained muscle mass, my metabolic rate has increased, so I can eat more throughout the day without doing any cardio and sustain my fat loss. I don't know what my body fat percentage is, but it's pretty low for the amount of food I'm eating right now and my height and my weight and everything. So just keep that in mind. The more muscle mass you have, the more you can consume in a day, and the less cardio you really have to do in order to maintain the body fat you're at. So now you're probably wondering, okay, that's all great, that all makes sense, but how much cardio should I be doing? So I'm going to break down how much you should definitely be doing if you are in certain situations and explain why. First of all, I want to talk about people trying to build muscle. If you're trying to build muscle, doing cardio is really not necessary, and if anything, if you are somebody who just likes to get a little sweat in, then you can do it. First of all are the people who are trying to build muscle. If you are trying to build muscle, doing cardio is kind of counterproductive, and here's why. When you're trying to build muscle, you typically want to be in a surplus, meaning you're eating more than you're burning in a day in order to gain some weight. So typically you will also be lifting weights, and probably lifting weights pretty heavily, so you're burning calories during that. But then if you also go and do cardio, you're burning even more calories in the day, which means you'll have to eat even more food, which a lot of times is going to be super hard. So doing cardio when you are trying to gain weight and trying to grow muscle is pretty much counterproductive. However, if you're somebody who just likes the sweat or likes to feel like your, heart is beating really fast, whatever it is, feel free to do some like HIIT circuits and stuff like that. But overall, if you are trying to gain muscle mass, don't worry about cardio. Now, let's say you are trying to lose body fat. Here's the problem with a lot of people when they're trying to lose body fat. They don't have a plan and they don't have a strategy. So they just go in trying to lose body fat for years and years and years, and they never reach their goals because they don't have a plan. This is super necessary. So if you are trying to lose body fat and you are wondering how much cardio you should be doing, first, I don't even want you to think about that. I want you to think about your food. It has to be both. You have to use both your food and your cardio in order to lose body fat. So first, figure out how much food you're eating in a day. Figure out what you're doing in the gym throughout the week. So maybe you're already doing cardio. Maybe you're doing 20 minutes 4 times a week and you're eating 2,500 calories. Instead of doing all that cardio, first drop down your calories a little bit. Maybe wean down on your cardio a little bit and go back to 2 sessions of 20 minutes a day. Bring down your calories so that you're in a true deficit, and then when you start plateauing from there, then slowly start adding in cardio. There's no one answer for every person. It's not like if you're trying to lose body fat, then you should do 4 times a week. That's not it. It's if you're trying to lose body fat, first decrease your calories. When you plateau, add in a little bit of cardio. When you plateau, add in a little bit more, or decrease your calories a little bit more. You have to play around with both cardio and your food. But here's the problem. If you go straight into a deficit with 5 days a week of 30 minutes of cardio and you plateau, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to do more cardio, which means you're going to have to end up at 40 minutes 5 times a week or 45 minutes 5 times a week, which makes it miserable. You don't want to go all in at once if you're trying to lose body fat. You want to slowly increase the cardio throughout time in order to make sure that you can keep getting past those plateaus that you hit. So when you start off on a deficit, start with maybe 2 times a week, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, and then slowly increase over time. By the end of your deficit, you might be at something like 4 to 5 times a week of 30 minutes. But after that, when you go into reverse diet, slowly decrease your cardio as you increase your calories. And then eventually when you get into a muscle building phase, don't do any cardio. Unless you're somebody who really enjoys it, go for it, but you really don't need cardio when it comes to building muscle. So I hope this all made sense. I hope this helped you out a little bit and you kind of understand how much cardio you should be doing. Again, I currently don't do any. If that helps anybody figure out how much you should be doing, I was doing about 4 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes during my cut. I wanted to reverse diet, slowly decreased it, and now I'm not doing any, and I'm eating 2,500 calories, and I'm maintaining my weight. Again, just because I have a lot of muscle mass, so it helps me with my metabolic rate, helps me sustain my body fat loss, and helps make sure that I don't gain body fat on top of it. You don't have to do cardio just to keep off the body fat. You don't have to do cardio to lose body fat. You can also lose body fat without cardio for a good amount of time. So just keep all that in mind the next time you try to lose body fat. I hope this helps you guys out, and if you have any questions, let me know down below.